Man has been experimenting with different objects and discovering new concepts since the start of time. These experiments led to inventions that literally changed the way we live, the way we function, the way we work. They changed the world. And today we're going to tell you about the top 10 inventions that changed the world. 10. James Watt's Copier. The steam engine is the most famous invention of James Watt. However, James Watt's accomplishments are not confined to the steam engine. As one of the founders of the Industrial Revolution, he spent the most of his life innovating. Watt, like any other innovator, spent the majority of his life in debt, unable to find fresh backers because he was despised by many. Following the creation of the copy machine, thanks to Watt, these businessmen gained wealthier and their lives became easier. Documents were easily copied by pressing them against a thin strip of paper, which created a reversed copy from the back. It was compact, simple, and portable, and it evolved into today's copy machines. The copier was a hit, selling over 600 machines in its first year. It was a watershed moment in Watt's career as he finally started making money from his work. 9. Contraceptives. As crucial as it is to reproduce, it's also critical to consider the world's population. There are numerous reasons to postpone having children, and the development of contraceptives not only altered the globe, but also made life easier for women. Modern families were able to achieve higher standards of living since they had fewer people to feed, and the ordinary man could easily provide better for each child. Meanwhile, contraceptives are playing an increasingly important role in helping the world's population level off. It's predicted to stabilize by the end of the century. Certain contraceptives, such as condoms, also help to prevent the spread of sexually transmitted illnesses, which can be treatable or incurable, which is a huge game changer for the world. 8. Vaccines. Vaccines were a boon to mankind, extending life and making it safer. Prior to the introduction of vaccines, there were few or no remedies for illnesses that now appear minor, such as the flu. Penicillin, one of the most well-known and earliest vaccinations ever developed, was officially released by the public in 1944 by Scottish scientist Alexander Fleming. Fleming made the discovery by accident when he spotted a bacteria-filled petri dish in his laboratory with the lid left open. Mold contaminated the sample soon after, killing the bacteria everywhere it was found. It was determined that the antibiotic mold was caused by the fungus Penicillium. Chemists investigated the subject for the following 2 decades, purified it, and developed the medication penicillin, which now tackles a wide range of bacterial illnesses in people without harming humans. 7. Airplane. Gone are the days when you had to travel for days to get to your destination. In today's society, traveling to any part of the globe takes only hours. The invention of the airplane is to thank for this. On December 17, 1903, the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur, invented the airplane. Despite the fact that the first several flights were short-lived, they eventually achieved a stable flight and made their invention public. Roll, pitch, and yaw were the 3 main controls on the first airplane. They could only fly in a straight line for about a minute at first. They were able to fly above Huffman Prairie by the end of 1905, flying aloft for nearly half an hour or until their gasoline ran out. The Wright Flyer, which debuted in 1905, was the world's first practical airplane. 6. The compass. Prior to this discovery, mariners relied on the stars to chart their voyage. However, that system was problematic because it didn't work during the day or on cloudy nights, making it dangerous to travel far from shore. The Chinese, on the other hand, saved lives by inventing the first compass sometime between the 9th and 11th centuries. The primary material utilized to create the first compass was lodestone. Lodestone, a naturally magnetized iron ore, was under ongoing scrutiny for its appealing qualities and potential applications. Through naval interaction, the technique was quickly passed on to Europeans and Arabs. The compass allowed seamen to navigate securely far from land, resulting in increased sea trade and the age of discovery. 5. Daguerreotype. Consider what life would be like if there were no photos. Because of the invention of daguerreotypes, the concept appears to be unachievable. The daguerreotype, the first successful photograph, was invented in the 1830s by Louis-Jacques Mandé Daguerre and Nicéphore Niepce. Niepce's initial effort at developing an image needed an 8-hour exposure time, while Daguerre's took only 20 to 30 minutes to complete. With technological improvements, capturing images of anything we want, whenever we want, it's now as simple as clicking a button. So just know that if this hadn't been invented, we wouldn't be taking hundreds of selfies with limitless filters on high-definition cameras now. 4. The wheel. Wheels have simplified our lives in a variety of ways. Prior to the advent of the wheel, about 3500 BC, the ability of humans to carry commodities over great distances on land was severely constrained, making life more difficult. The most challenging component of the invention was not shaping a stone into a circle. When it came time to connect a non-moving platform to the rolling cylinder, things became a little problematic. When positioning the wheels under a platform, precision was required. The holes in the middle of the wheels, as well as the ends of the fixed axles, had to be approximately spherical and smooth. Another important consideration was the axle size, as well as the diameter of the hole, to ensure that it was neither too tight nor too loose. Wait, before we move on to our top 3 inventions that changed the world, we just want to remind you to subscribe to your favorite channel, if you haven't already. Oh, you have? Perfect. Let's move on with the video then. 3. Telephone. Despite the fact that other innovators worked on electric voice transmission, Alexander Graham Bell was the first to be recognized as the inventor of the telephone in 1876. However, the question of who invented the telephone continues to be debated. On February 14, 1876, both Alexander Graham Bell and Elisha Gray filed separate patent applications for their concepts with the Patent Office in Washington. However, Bell exhibited the first prototype of a telephone to a large audience at the World Exhibition in Philadelphia in June 1876, and his telephone became famous around the world as a result. The invention took off immediately, revolutionizing worldwide trade and communication. He was inspired by his deaf mother and his experience teaching the deaf. The first telephone was dubbed an electrical speech machine by him. According to PBS, after Bell died on August 2, 1922, the United States telephone service was halted for a minute in his honor. 2. Light bulb. In 1879, Thomas Edison, a man of many wonders, invented what we now know as the light bulb. However, crediting the correct creator is just as crucial as crediting the invention itself. Most people assume Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, although an English chemist named Humphrey Davy was the first to propose the concept of light. He proposed that electric current be passed through wires with sufficient resistance to heat up and produce light. Finding the correct material for the wire to stay lit for lengthy periods of time, on the other hand, was a challenge, which is where Thomas Edison comes in. He created the world's first light bulb, a carbon filament light bulb that altered the world with its dazzling light. 1. The Internet. The Internet, one of the greatest blessings of all time, has no introduction. The Internet is a global system of interconnected computer networks that's used by billions of people across the world. Although no single person can be awarded full credit for its development because many people contributed, computer scientist Lawrence Roberts is the person most generally credited with its invention. Initially, the Internet was not created for everyone. ARPANET was created by a group of computer scientists working for the United States Defense Department's ARPA, Advanced Research Projects Agency, in the 1960s to connect the agency's computers. It used packet switching, a data transfer technology devised by Roberts, a team member, based on previous work by other computer scientists. However, it quickly became available to everyone and now is one of the most widely utilized forms of communication.